Hello, George, where are you now?
I'm on my way. Oh, Lizzie, are you okay?
Yes, what's update on school?
We have just studied about media information sources.
Is that a hard topic?
No, actually it's so very easy.
Well, can you help me on this topic?
Of course, I am glad to do that. So first, you have to know what is media information sources. Media sources is any resources that serves as a means of communicating to a general, public audience. Media and information sources can be obtained by human sources, library sources, indigenous and internet sources. Human sources are any person who can be a source of data. Example: newscaster, detective, teacher, and others.
Are you example of human source?
Yes. While library sources are sources that are found in the library. Example: books, dictionaries, almanac, and... Do you know what is Dewey Decimal System? It is a system used in libraries for the classification of books and other publications. It uses the numbers 000 to 999 to cover the general field of knowledge and subdivides each field by the use of decimals and letters.
How about Library Congress system?
Library Congress system is a system of library classification developed by the Library of Congress. It is used by most research and academic libraries in the US and several other countries. Why, Lizzie?
Looks like I forget those types of sources that we talked about.
It okay, Lizzie. Let's recall again. The first is human source, then library sources, and indigenous sources, and lastly internet sources.
I think now we are in indigenous sources.
That's right.
Do you know what is indigenous sources?
These are sources that are obtained traditionally by an indigenous people. We are now in internet sources. Internet sources are any information that found in the internet. Example: social media, sites, blog entries and other. In this generation people depends on innovative milestone of technology. Okay Lizzie, let's move on to the 5 criteria that should be applied in evaluating any site. First is the author. Is it clear who is responsible for the contents of the page? Is there a way of verifying the legitimacy of the organization, group, company or individual? Is the information from sources known to be reliable? Second is accuracy. Are the sources for factual information clearly listed so they can be verified in other sources? Is the information free of grammatical, spelling, and other typographical errors? Third is objectivity. Does the content appears to contain any evidence of bias? Is there a link to a page describing the goals or purpose of the sponsoring organization or company? Fourth is currency. Are there dates on the page to indicate when the page was written, when the page was first placed on the web, or when the page was last revised? Lastly, the coverage. Are their topics successfully addressed, with clearly presented arguments and adequate support to substantiate them? Does the work update other sources, substantiate other materials you have read, or add new information? Is the target audience identified and appropriate for your needs? Achoo!
Excuses.
So have to go now Lizzie, it's too late now. Let's talk about late primary, secondary, and tertiary sources.
Okay, thanks so much for teaching me. George, thanks again for teaching me last night. Actually, I have researched about primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. Primary source is also called the original evidence, and they was created under time study. Example of this are artifact, diaries, letter, conversation photography, video recording and others. I have searched at the internet that secondary sources a document or recording this discusses the information originally presented somewhere. usually involves interpretation, generalizations, analysis, synthesis, or evaluation of the original information.
The site where you have searched is reliable?
Absolutely. Tertiary sources is an in-textual consolidation of primary sources and secondary sources.